Hey, what up, people? Welcome back to Whack TV. It's your man One Love, and today I'll be discussing what many of people might be talking about right now, and it's the assassination attempt on former President Donald J. Trump. Um, I think, in light of everything, of course, we don't have all the details as it's still fresh and new. Uh, with someone who has a bit of foresight and knowledge of a little bit of recent history, I believe this is the worst case scenario for the outlook of the country as a whole. We're at a time where people are already divided. Um, People are afraid and terrified of numerous of things. You know what I mean? We're inching further and further to unnecessary wars that's being pushed on by our current president, Joe Biden, with situations that's happening in Ukraine and Gaza. We also have a lot of issues that's going on in our country with things like guns and child poverty and homelessness and people having issues with affording medical care and a lot of different things. I personally feel that in light of what had happened, even if this shit was, fabricated by Trump himself, you know, can never um, look past something like that because there's some wicked shit all the time in this world. You can never know. Not saying that he actually did it, but you can never say that he did it. You know what I mean? But even in the outcome of the situation, Trump was now made a martyr. I mean, he was already being put in as a situation as such, especially with the whole entire politics that's happening in this country. The divisiveness that's happening between Donald Trump and the Republican Party, as well as practically every Democrat who's been running over the last 8 years or so. Especially with the media putting him in the spotlight and giving him this platform. um, this is the worst case scenario, and the reason why I feel that way is because you're causing a greater rift in the American people than it already is. You already have this massive divide between Democrat and Republican, red and blue. You still have this massive divide between Americans and foreigners. You have this divide in people of color or melanated people, excuse me, and pale people. This is just uh, an issue that I feel is just going to cause a greater rift amongst the people of this nation, because instead of coming together and fixing the issues that plague us as a country, we tend to invest in a lot of things that don't really matter. For example, investing into wars to steal people's resources while destroying the land of this great nation. Um, we have taken out of our educational systems. Um, our literacy rates are pushing in the 80% tiles, which is extremely low. And compared to a lot of um, modern nations, uh, especially in a country that is known for its freedom, as well as one of the wealthiest nations to exist in humankind. Um, Easily the largest military that we've had in probably human history. Um, but we invest in those things that don't really matter to the benefit of humanity, and it seems to push us closer to our own demise. Um, Especially at a time where we need to find stability. We need to find um, oneness as humanity, especially in light of you know what's going on with this planet. Um, because it seems very often many locations are being destroyed um, by Mother Nature, um, but that is only beneficial to Mother Nature herself, because if everything dies out, it's just going to be rebirth again. The only things that might not be rebirth is us. That's one of the reasons why we have all these scientists who are trying to find another planet to occupy, because for some reason we're just too lazy to invest into this planet. You know what I mean? We rather dump it with chemicals. We rather destroy the animals. We rather kill ecosystems, um, instead of planting trees and producing fruit that's fruitful for health healthy living. You know what I mean? Um, this is just a downgrade. This is us going backwards. This feels like another situation that happened with Ronald Reagan, where he was shot in the chest from point blank. You know what I mean? And that just led to his election. And we saw how that shit went. It's like, yeah, this fucking, excuse my language, but um, you end up having trickle down economics that hurt the working class. Um, cause this massive divide in wealth, this massive wealth gap that we're seeing today in this country. you know um Suicides steadily on the rise. You know what I mean? Because people are struggling to get the medical help that they need. People aren't getting the proper mental health treatment that they deserve. um and it just seems like people are becoming more and more selfish in this country, and it's unfortunate. It's really unfortunate to be witnessing this time. But if whatever, I have this idea of what's to come, um it's just an opportunity for growth, for us to learn from the mistakes of the past, for us to find new ways of either being a nation or dissolving the systems that have been in place for a very long time, that does not benefit the average human being. Because this country was built because people wanted to get away from monarchies, only to fall into this trap of capitalism that forces people into slavery, forces people into debt that's not even their own. Um, uh, it's a mess. This nation, this country is a mess, and we we have the power now to decide if we want to continue the bullshit or create something brand new. I encourage everyone to come up with new ideas, to breathe new life into creating new possibilities of what this country can be, what this world can be, and essentially um, dissolving old habits that no longer seem to work. So I guess just a matter of we decide to do so or not. And that leaves you with this. One love.